Good morning, my dear students. We are discussing chapter 9 at Boys Hall. We completed till page number 81. Today we will see the rest of the chapter. After having breakfast, Mr. Squeeze made his way to his desk for the first class. This is the class in English, spelling and philosophy, Nicole Bay, Mr. Squeeze said. He gave the signal to Nicholas to stand beside him. Now then, where's the first boy? Mr. Squeer asked. Please, sir, said the one unlucky pupil. He is cleaning the back parlor window. So he is, to be sure, replied Squeeze. We follow the practical mode of teaching, Nicholbay, said Mr. Squeer to Nicholbay. C-L-E-A-N, clean, verb, to make bright. V-I-N, win. D-E-R, der, winter, a casement. When the boy knows this out of a book, he goes and does it. Where is the second boy? The Squeer shouted. So this is the way that Mr. Squeer taught that poor children. The second boy replied, Please, sir, he is weeding the garden. So he is, said Squeer. B-O-T, bot, T-I-N, tin, botin, N-E-Y, nay, botany, noun, a knowledge of plants. When he has learned that botany meanings a knowledge of plants, he goes and gets the knowledge. That's our system, Nicholbay. Third boy, what's a horse? So here, what Mr. Squeer is doing is, he will teach some words and he will ask the child to go and do the same work. If the child learned about the word clean, he want to go and clean. If the poor child learn about what is botany, he want to go and work there. Mr. Squeer asked the third question, what is a horse? A beast, sir, replied the boy. So it is, said Squeeze. A horse is a quadruped, and quadrupeds Latin for beast, as everybody who understands grammar knows. As you are perfect in grammar, go and look after my horse and rub him down well, or I will rub you down. The rest of the class, go and draw water till somebody tells you to stop, for it's washing day tomorrow. In that class, Mr. Squeer spoke about one or two verses and asked all the children to go and work hard outside. The deficiencies of Squeer's teaching method were made up for by lavish punishments. Nicholas had to stand by every day and see the unfortunate pupils of Boys Hall punished for mistakes they did not make, knowing that he could do nothing to help them. The plight of one pupil in particular filled Nicholas with pity. It was Smike. Being older than the others, he had suffered many more years of ill treatment. The meaning of that paragraph is, our Nicholas is helpless. He wants to watch all this cruelty without doing anything. The way that Squeer teach is inefficient. He simply give lavish punishments to those who are not giving the right answer. The face of the Smike made our Nicholas' heart filled with pity. He is the older one among all those children. Because of that, he suffered so many years of this kind of ill treatment. Since Nicholas needed the job, Nicholas tolerated the rough language of Squeeze, the insult of Mrs. Squeeze, the bad food and dirty lodging. Lodging means accommodation. Once Mrs. Squeer declared herself that the new teacher, that is our Nicholas Nickleby, was proud and he considered himself superior to others and with his nose in the air. That was the insult from the side of Mrs. Squeeze. Nicholas Nickleby tolerated this all just because he needed that job. He was not getting any good food. He was getting a very dirty lodging and very rough languages from Squeeze and a lot of insult from Mrs. Squeeze. One evening, After lessons, Nicholas had been left with the boys in the chilly classroom. Supper was already done, with a meal of bread and cheese served shortly after dark. Nicholas sat down by a small stove in a corner of the room. Though he often thought of quitting, for the time being he had decided to stay. He hoped that by remaining he might do some good for the poor students. The meaning of that paragraph is one day evening Nicholas was alone with those children in that chilly classroom, which means very cold classroom. Supper was already done, with a meal of bread and cheese, served shortly after dark. Dark means after getting into dark, after the evening. Nicholas sat down by a small stove. The stove means which made them hot during the time of winter. He was often thinking about quitting that job, but he decided to stay. He hoped that he can do something good for that poor students. He noticed the upturning face of Smike, who was on his knees before the stove, picking up a few stray cinders from the hearth and putting them on the fire. Realizing that he was observed, Smike shrunk back as if expecting a blow. Nicholas noticed the face of Smike. Smike was on his knees before the stove, and he was picking up some burned woods and coal, and he was putting them into the fire. He realized that Smike realized that he was being observed by Nicholas Nickleby. "You don't have to be afraid of me," said Nicholas kindly. "Are you cold?" he inquired. "No," said our Smike. "You are shivering," said Nicholas. "I am not cold," replied Smike quickly. "I am used to it." He was so obviously afraid of angering his teacher, and looked so timid and broken-spirited, that Nicholas could not help exclaiming, "Poor fellow!" By hearing to the words of Smike that he is not cold and he is used to it, our Nicholas Nickleby, with an empathetic heart, he exclaimed, "Poor fellow!" The rest of the chapter we will see in the next class. Dear students, please read and understand the chapter. Try to write the difficult words into your copy. Thank you.